So it's long been said that if you start playing the guitar, you should start on an acoustic. This is a piece of advice I don't actually truly believe, even though I did start on an acoustic guitar. But in today's video, I wanted to share kind of 4 reasons why I think every guitarist should have and should play an acoustic guitar. So the first thing about the acoustic guitar is that they just sound great. I think it's kind of, not to say that electric guitars don't sound great. Again, I spend probably 80% of the time with a guitar in my hand with an electric guitar. I love electric guitars, I love amps, I love reverb, I love all of those good things. But the acoustic guitar, I think, is about as close as the guitar world gets to something like a piano, where there's just something about hearing a piano be played, even if it's, you know, the piano's being played somewhat well. There's just a gorgeous sound to it. There's this nice just thing about, you know, acoustic strings and wood, just like a piano, but in this case being manipulated by a person that's really... Sorry, I got the hiccups apparently. There's just something beautiful about this wonderful instrument. And so that kind of sound, I think, is a big part into why it's a great thing to use. And then with that comes kind of point number 2 why everyone should own and play an acoustic guitar, is that it leaves you with absolutely nowhere to hide. There's no reverb, there's no compression, there's no anything else to kind of polish things up. Like, I tend to use this as a good barometer for whether I play a lot of solo jazz guitar gigs where I might be playing chord melodies. I'll sometimes use it as a finishing school to see that, you know, if I do want to play this tune on the gig, if I can get everything ringing. And just have everything ringing out nice. Because again, the acoustic guitar, there's no nice reverb. You can't put a compressor on it. You can't do all of these things. It really forces you to kind of listen to what you're getting. And it'll make you more sensitive to things that electric guitars can hide. Like, you know, are you fretting notes cleanly? Are you getting a lot of buzz? What are some of the other things that you can do to help yourself get a better sound out of your guitar playing? It's a really good way to get an honest kind of look of what things are like. Now, another good thing about these is that acoustic guitars tend to be a little bit harder to play because everything on this guitar is made out of wood or bone in the case of the nut and the saddle. You don't have as much flexibility in setup, and you also need to be a little bit more sensitive to action. You tend to have to run a little bit higher of an action. And again, some people would look at this and say, well, oh, but that makes the acoustic guitars hard. It makes me not want to play it. And if that's how you feel, kind of fair enough. But I would try to look at that as an advantage rather than a disadvantage, because when you play in that manner, it makes life a little bit easier when you go back to your electric guitar. So it's a really good thing to kind of train good technique and train good fingers and see what kind of playing with a higher action feels like. Because again, if you can do it on an acoustic, you can probably almost certainly do it on an electric. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about going back and forth between these that I think is good is it can force you to really work on your accuracy, because you have to deal with these things. And it can really help you work on your accuracy because you have to deal with a little bit wider of a string spacing most of the time. And again, you have a little bit higher action, so you have to be more and more precise. And I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the litter box in the background. The fourth and final kind of reason that everybody should play the acoustic guitar is kind of tied into a lot of the other ones, but it makes you hyper aware of kind of what things really sound like. I think a lot of the time, sometimes when playing electric guitar, especially my more intermediate students, they have this kind of bashful approach where they're just kind of banging on the thing. Especially on electric guitars, it's kind of easier to just kind of slam things through and let the amp kind of smooth things out for you. Where if you aren't absolutely nailing your chord on an acoustic guitar, you get that kind of sound. And then even if it's something that you know you've played well, it makes it a lot easier. I think you get a little bit more instant feedback from what your notes sound like, and again, you don't have an amp smoothing out the end result for you. So it just makes you a little bit more concerned with your touch and with your tone on the instrument, and I think that's actually a really big benefit, where even if you're just playing simple melodies, it just helps. I mean, that's what I was going for. That's the guy. But it just gives you kind of more instant feedback and more kind of control, because if you miss it, it really tells you that you're missing it. Whereas on something like an electric guitar, again, you get that kind of smoothed out by the amp, maybe throw a little bit of reverb on it, some of the little stuff isn't being picked up. But again, the acoustic guitar is just totally dry, and you have to do the work to make it sound good. And the other thing that I'll just add in here at the end as a bonus is that some people may be inclined to say, well, Matt, that's a very nice acoustic guitar you have. This is a Martin 0017. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument that I love to death. It's been mine for, I don't know, the last 5 or so years. And I got it for a crazy good deal on Facebook Marketplace. The gear gods were on my side. And there was a guy selling it, and he was selling it for a lower price than he needed to, and I asked him for an even lower price, and he said yes. But the other great thing about acoustic guitars is that there's value to be had at pretty much every single price point with them. If this guitar were to die in a fire, I don't make a lot of my money from an acoustic guitar. I just play it because I love it. If this guitar were to get stolen or lost or whatever, I would replace this with a Yamaha FS800. The FS800 is an entry-level Yamaha guitar. It has a solid spruce top, which is very important for sound. And it is probably about 80% of the guitar this is. Is it as nice? No. Would it 100% do the job? Yes. And it's my cousin, actually. I helped my wife's, or my aunt-in-law. I don't know what I would call her, but I helped a Christmas present be bought for her cousin, my wife's cousin, and I was playing it actually this last Christmas, and I went, this is a really nice guitar. So acoustic guitars, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a nice one to enjoy the beautiful sounds that come out of, these beautiful instruments. It can feel good to do some of the, explore other things on the guitar than what you might normally play. Like, I'm mostly a jazz guitarist, but every now and then I like to bust out some Chet Atkins. I'll leave that flub in there for free. But anyways, there's just a bunch of thoughts on why everybody should play an acoustic guitar. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you can know. If you are looking to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you're looking to support me in the free educational content that I post here, you can subscribe to my Patreon, which is linked down in the description. All of my patrons get early access to videos, as well as cool behind-the-scenes sneak peeks at stuff that I'm working on that I don't share anywhere else, as well as the diagrams that sometimes pop up in my more educational videos here. If you are looking for a different way to support me, there are links in the description to check out either my ebooks or my video courses. It's a great way to get some more in-depth educational content from me than I can go into in a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I have new videos coming out every single week, so I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.